You get to decide how your life ends up, where you live, where you work, who you date, what you eat, what you watch. Like, the ability to choose, gentlemen, is huge. It's a gift. Don't take it for granted. The chains, the shackles are gone. Those are done. If you were not under lock and key, you have the opportunity and the ability to experience all that life has to offer. And I encourage you as men to do so. What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. Gentlemen, need to say it. Hear me. Feel me. Some of the reason why I believe men are not experiencing the dynamics, the respect, and the outcome that they want from these women is simply one thing only. Men are not asking, demanding, and requesting what it is they want. You know, I find it interesting because, see, society will tell you that we as men are more selfish than women. I totally disagree. I believe that a whole man, a natural man, a well-rounded, solid man is one that is selfish enough to accomplish his goals, his dreams, his aspirations, but selfless enough to be able to prioritize his loved ones, you know, his woman, his kids, his family, and take it all in at the same time. Why that's important, though, gentlemen, is, see, I wanted to talk about this because my channel exists to make men more conscious, to make men more aware of who they are, how great they are, their position, their gifts, their abilities. And one of the things is quite sad, actually, is that I've noticed a lot of men don't have the understanding that, hey, you get to ask for what it is you want. You have that. You have that right. But you could only get it if you first believe that you're deserving of that. You could only get it if you know that, hey, what I'm asking for is well within my ability to receive, right? And so I want to talk about that because the only way there's going to be better men, developed men, you know, strong men, is first them understanding what they're capable of, them understanding that it's totally okay to ask for what you want. You know, before I did this particular broadcast, I would just, I go over thoughts in my mind and I try to be like, put it together, because I don't write things down. I freestyle this whole thing. Most of my thoughts are things that I have gathered over the years, observed experience, lived experience, research, so on, so forth. And just one of the things that, as I'm starting to continue to talk about these issues more often, counsel men and have conversations, I'm starting to realize that what I've learned, the truth behind, is not so much a common thought. See, most of you who are in this space and observing this type of content know that my boy Kevin Samuels recently passed away. And most of you know that he, out of everything he did, he set a standard, right? The reason why I respected that man is because it was like looking in a mirror spiritually. It was like understanding that we are like-minded because I, like him, have standards. I, like him, request and demand a certain type of response, treatment, so on, so forth. And why this sparked my interest to talk about was more because I started asking myself, why? Why is it that there's only a few men in time, a few men in history that seem to get to this point of clarity and understanding. Get to this point of awareness. You know, Kevin Samuels is one. I myself is another. Jordan Peterson is another. You know, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King. There's so many philosophers, you know, some would say Farrakhan. And men like this are not, in my opinion, special. They're not different. What it is they understand, one, I believe, the principles of life. They understand, you know, time. They understand gratitude. They understand the outlook. They understand that life is distributed to us in the best case scenario. If you're born healthy, if you're born with no ailments, and so on and so forth, we all have the same opportunity. We all have the same 24 hours, 365 days, 7 days a week, so on and so forth, right? What you do with that, though, is totally up to you. And why I wanted to speak on this more so was because, see, I'm like asking myself, why is it that only men like Kevin, only men like Jordan Peterson, and those that people recognize as public figures, why is it that there is almost a detachment from the common man to men like that? Well, what I believe is that most men don't do enough soul searching, don't always have the necessary circumstances, don't necessarily surround themselves with people who challenge them, don't ask questions about life. Curious minds about things that are practical, things that make things work. Why this? Why that? You know, I can remember when I was a child, I questioned everything, and I still am like that till this day. I'm curious about how things work just because. And, you know, sometimes I know, especially being, you know, from my community, that is not supported. That mindset is not nurtured. That mindset is not given a place to grow and expand and germinate. So I get it to a degree. You know, I get that you're asking questions and you're trying to figure out things, and, you know, you have maybe grandmama saying, you know, boy, get out of here, you know, mind your business. That's grown folks' business. So you got your mom, or, you know, so on and so forth. And these are people that you love and respect, that it teaches you that somehow, some way, you're supposed to stop fiending for knowledge. You're supposed to stop trying to gain an understanding. And the one thing that happens is that so many men get to a point in life where they accept status quo. They accept bare minimum. They settle in to where they are because they have stopped believing. They have stopped allowing themselves to see themselves great like that one time in their life I believe they did. The one beautiful thing about being young, unscathed, unbothered, there's a word for it, but a youthful mind that is not contaminated is allowed to dream and is allowed to formulate. Now, with that said, there's a part to where dreams have to be put into practicality and put together to make a beautiful recipe, right? But there's nothing wrong with dreaming. I can't remember the movie. I can't remember the movie, but I can remember the phrase, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, and they were building the building. It's Inception. I think it was Inception. And one of the things he said is that a thought is free. A thought doesn't cost you anything. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was the movie. I've heard that before, but I think it happened on that movie. If I'm jacking it up, please forgive me. But it's still relative information, and he was right. A thought is allowed to live in your mind unlimited. It's allowed to grow. It's allowed to be vibrant. It's allowed to be played with and, allowed to expand. And see, that's the beauty about being a man. That's the beauty about being a creator, about having the ability in the most natural way to formulate something, whatever that may be, an invention, a concept, a beat, a movie, art, clothing, technology, whatever. Everything that exists on this planet was thought up. Everything that we experience was thought, was formulated, and was executed. And see, why I believe a lot of men are, for lack of a better term, not experiencing all that life has to offer is because they have decided to settle for the bare minimum. They have decided to stop trying out for the varsity team. They have decided that when it comes down to their birthdays or Father's Day or Christmas, and they know they want those sneakers or that PlayStation or that gun or, that TV, that when somebody brings you socks, you just accept it because somebody taught you or society taught you that at some point in your life, you as a man don't deserve to be happy, don't deserve to ask for the things that's really gonna make you feel good, feel great. I dismiss that. I reject that. If there's one thing that I stand for and the principle that I stand on is that I have the ability to choose how I think, how I feel, how I respond, how I react, and how I'm going to participate and allow people to exist in my life and interact with me. One of the arguments I used to have some years ago, and even up till recently, sorry, forgive me, I got dust in my eyes, but anyway, I'm gonna keep rocking, is there was a time when I remember the neighborhood didn't need cops like they have cops now. There was a time that security cameras weren't a thing to make you feel safe. You know what we had? We had men. We had solid citizens of men that existed in the home. Men to your right, men to your left. You went down the street to Mr. Wilkins' house. You went down the street to Mr. Johnson's house. You went down the street, to the Smiths. There was no, calling the authorities. We are the authority, right? And a lot has changed, a lot has shifted. But what I'm trying to really get at, gentlemen, is that I want, if anything, with the passing of Kevin, with the progression of the manosphere, with the growth of information, for men to take the true meaning and reason behind these broadcasts, the true meaning and reason behind why we as men continue to speak to you guys as men, as a society, as a human race. There needs to be more men who dare to be a Kevin Samuels, who dare to be a Jordan Peterson, at the version of you, at the version that is your best, whatever you are, whoever you may be. Daniel Rucker needs to be Daniel Rucker at his best. Whoever you are, you need to be you at your best. I reject the notion of there only being this man and this man and this lane and the glory that is their position. The Kobe's and the Tupacs, and we standing behind them like, oh, well, they're greater than you. I don't think that they're greater than you. What I think is they decided that they wanted the best from themselves. They decided that this world is for the taking. They decided that we conquer, you can conquer. And you can start with yourself. You can start with your thoughts. You can start with your speech. You can start with your immediate environment. You get to decide how your life ends up, where you live, where you work, who you date, what you eat, what you watch. Like, the ability to choose, gentlemen, is huge. It's a gift. Don't take it for granted. The chains, the shackles are gone. Those are done. If you were not under lock and key, you have the opportunity and the ability to experience all that life has to offer. And I encourage you as men to do so. Start doing a self-assessment. I do this every day that I wake up. I look in the mirror and I say, self, how do you feel? Self, what do you want to do today? Self, are you good? Are you okay? Every day. That helped me to develop into the man that I am now. That helped me to start having accountability and ownership. That also helped me to build the pillars of confidence that I, at one point in my life, lacked. And that's what I want for you men. That's what I want for the men who follow this channel. That's what I want for men who are looking to develop themselves. That's what I want for society. So anyway, thank you for hanging out with me today. If you have not already done so, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. I so appreciate it. I checked my sub count today. I think I'm 5 shy of 400. You know, I appreciate it. I can't continue to get this channel to grow without you guys' assistance. So go ahead and continue to support me. I appreciate it. Share the video, like the video, and I'll be coming to you guys with another one real soon. Take care.